it's lovely to meet you both.
It's good to meet you.
Enjoyed listening to your music just a little bit earlier in the Wall Top.
Thank you very much.
Beverley Festival. Introduce yourselves.
I'm Gerry McNeice and I'm from Otley in West Yorkshire. I'm a resident, if you like, for want of a better phrase, at Otley Folk Club and Otley Folk Festival, and it's through the Folk Club really that I'm doing what I'm doing now. Because I was kind of press ganged into going to the Folk Club one night by a friend of mine, and I said, oh, I don't know anything about folk music, what's this all about? And I'm not going there. And eventually she nagged and it was in the merry month of May, which is correct of course for folk music, that I went in and I sang 2 songs and never looked back, and now I'm doing it all the time now. It's my full-time job.
Did you go in on a milk-white steed?
I didn't go in on a milk-white steed, that would have been...
that would have been the folky cliche to end off.
Yeah, and there were no fair maidens there, which is a shame.
Oh,
can't say that on camera.
Excuse me, I've been to Otley Folk Club and your good wife goes to Otley Folk Club regularly, so watch what you say.
Well, I have to watch what I say, don't I? But yeah, and so that's me in a nutshell, really. I've been involved with music all my life, but only really been involved in the folk scene since 2005, so fairly new.
I'm Wendy Arrowsmith and I'm from Kirby Fleetham in North Yorkshire. Although the accent's a bit of a giveaway, I'm actually from Glasgow originally, but I've lived in Yorkshire now for 7 years and I've been involved in folk music for about 4 years or so.
7 long years, you should say.
Yeah, 7 long? No, I love living in Yorkshire.
No, I mean for folk thing.
Watch it!
For folk thing.
Yeah, 7 long years, yeah. Yeah, so I mean I've sung since I was very tiny, always sung, but really only sort of got into the folk music scene properly in the last sort of 3-4 years, and actually in terms of doing it to try and attempt to scrape some sort of a living, it's definitely been about 3 years since.
The babies really are.
We are, I know, little babies.
Yeah.
So Gerry, you said that you've been involved in music a long time.
Yeah.
But only in folk a relatively short time. What did you do before?
I played in several bands over the years. I started off actually with Annie on rhythm guitar. She played rhythm guitar and I played guitar and sang and we had a bass player. And we were a country and western band. And our first gigs were country and western, and I'll never forget going to a working men's club in Doncaster one night. We had a country night and we get to the end of our song, last chord, and they all got their guns out and shot them and we were what? And frightened to death. But funnily enough, I am now also in another country and western band, which makes its debut next week. So it's kind of come full circle. And I played in kind of rock bands, pub bands, anything really. I just kind of, always wanted to play. Then I was in a band for quite a long time and we fell out, and then I didn't play for a bit. And now we've kissed and made up, we're back together now. We got together to do a one-off gig for a mutual friend who's not very well, and we enjoyed it so much we decided that what's the point, it's all futile, this falling out malarkey, and we did it again and we're now doing that. So I'm in several bands and I play with Duncan McFarlane as well in the acoustic band, and obviously I've produced Wendy's album. And so
by magic,
we've done
an album appears.
And we've done a couple of gigs together as well. So it, but it was mainly just anything really, mainly rock, I guess. I've never been a blues player. I never got blues. I never got kind of well-off middle-class white blues players. Okay, if you're black and you're poor and you're in the southern states of America and you've knocked your guitar up out of a cigar box and you're scratching and making a living, I can get the blues there, but I can't get English blues, I'm afraid. Sorry, blues players, but there are some fine blues players, but it's never me.
No, it's not very good, is it? So what got you into folk?
Kate Rusby. I had a Kate Rusby record, or track, on the radio, and I thought, well, that's a bit quirky with a Yorkshire accent and what have you, and so we bought a Kate Rusby album and I quite liked it. And just from that really, through Kate Rusby I started hearing of other people that she's influenced by, particularly Nick Jones, because a friend of mine said, oh, you've got to listen to Penguin Eggs. What is Penguin Eggs? What's this all about? It's the folk album, especially for guitar players, you really need to listen to that. And I got a copy of it and I just decided and didn't think much about it, and then I put it on one day and I was absolutely blown away. And I had heard Nick Jones once on my card, and I didn't hear who it was. I just caught that the song when I turned the radio on, and I recognised the song because somebody in the open mic that night that I'd been going to, they'd sang it. It was a little pop star. So and it just, you know, it was me outwards, and then I just got to know so many wonderful people through going to the folk club, really. And when I met Katrina Gilmore, who I work with on various projects, she's in this country band that we're in, she just kind of introduced me to loads more people, and it just went from there. We started going to festivals. I met Leela, I don't know where, Leela rang me up for some advice.
That's Moonbeams, isn't it?
Yeah. She rang me for some advice on a website. I could help her out with. I think it was MySpace back in the day when MySpace was popular. Yeah. Just got to know her, and everybody really has come from just me listening to Kate Mosby record. Everybody I've met. So thanks, Kate.
What about you, Wendy? What got you into folk?
Well, when my husband and I got together, so like the Queen, my husband and I, when we got together about 15 years ago, our musical tastes were pretty different, shall we say. I mean, I liked folk music, but I wasn't particularly into it all the time. And my husband was the same. He'd been born and brought up in a folky family. His dad used to play melodeon for Lincoln Morris, so as a wee boy he'd gone to Morris things all his life. But then he'd gone off into a whole lot of dance, techno-y, ravey, blah, horrible stuff that I just wasn't into. And so our musical interests were really pretty widely far apart, but there was this overlap of folky stuff. So we began to sort of concentrate on that, since it was stuff we both liked. And then it grew, and he said, you know, when he first heard me sing, that was when he decided he wanted to marry me. And it's so romantic. And there's no doubt about it, if it wasn't for my husband Paul, I wouldn't be doing this now, because he's been tremendously supportive and encouraging, and you know, originally I would be sort of going, oh, I can't possibly stand up and sing a song in front of everybody, and he would say, come on, people want to hear you, and I'd be like, oh no, I don't know if I can. So he's really supported me and encouraged me and enabled me to do that. And you know, he's at home today looking after the children, and you know, and if he wasn't able to do that kind of thing for me, then it would be very hard for me to pursue this as a career, really.
And do you both write your own songs?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I do traditional songs, I do contemporary songs by other people, but I do write my own songs. And generally, if I'm performing at a folk club or a festival, it's usually a sort of a split of about, I don't know, 50-50 my own and trad, or but I can flex it depending on what I feel the audience particularly wants. And the CDs generally, with a new CD, I think there's about 7 of the songs are my own, and 4 of the songs are other people's, so it's not quite 50-50, but not far off.
What an interesting title though, Life, Love and Chocolate.
Life, Love and Chocolate, yeah, it has, and it's spawned a whole chocolate theme going on now in my life, and you know,
which I'm fully supportive of.
Well, yeah, and the other day it was my birthday, and people were wishing me happy birthday on Facebook, and somebody said, "Happy birthday, chocolate girl." So you know, I'm now forever associated with chocolate.
People refer to it, to the song as the chocolate song.
The chocolate song, yeah. The first track is called "Sweeter by the Day," and it's about a Cadbury's factory shutting down in Somerset, so that got the whole chocolate theme going.
And the album does contain snippets of Life, Love and Chocolate.
It does.
So what inspires you both in your writings?
Well, me personally, anything. It can be just something that somebody says, something that somebody does, something I read in the paper or on the magazine or the internet. It can be anything. And I think that songs are all they're just up here, they're in here, but they're just not all written yet, you know, and it just takes one little thing, and some songs I can labour over, it takes forever, and some songs can be done in 15 minutes. It's really weird how that works, you know, and when I look at the ones that I've struggled over, and I compare them to the ones that didn't take very long, there's very little difference, just that it just happened to be that day, that one took a few minutes. How did I manage to fit that word with that one when previously I couldn't make that word fit with that, and it's so obvious. But inspiration-wise, everything and anything, and I suppose all songwriters will say the same, more or less. You know.
I mean, I've got quite a few of my songs have been inspired by things to do with my family. So I've written songs for my grandfather, and I've written a song that I wrote for my son when he was quite little. He was only about 3 or 4, and then because he had a song, of course, his big sister got jealous because she wanted a song, so I wrote a song for her, and my husband's still like, when am I getting my song? I have actually written him a song, but it wasn't necessarily one of my best ones, so it doesn't really get tripped out very often. So yeah, I mean, it can be family and Radio 4. I'm a bit of a Radio 4 junkie, and that's inspired at least 2 of my songs. And it was the thing that inspired the Sweeter by the Day, the chocolate song. That was a trail for a Radio 4 programme called Cadbury is Our Longbridge, which was charting a year in the life of the factory workers at the Cadbury factory that's been shut down. So, and I can go for long spells where no song comes, and I start to think, oh, I've forgotten how to write songs. There's nothing.
I feel the same at the moment.
And then, and I've had months where, and I've got lots of ideas at the moment floating in my head, but nothing's actually coming into real life. And yet, I know that what will happen is suddenly a song will come, and I'll write it down, and then within about a fortnight there'll probably be about 3 songs, because it seems that they come in fits and starts. I find that.
Absolutely, definitely, yeah.
Do you hear the words first, or does the melody come, or does the harmony?
It varies. Generally, for me, the lyrics.
Yes, I would say the same.
But I've got 1 or 2 songs where the melody has come, and then that's inspired the song. But usually, I tend to almost treat it like poetry that I then find out.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of the way I more or less work. Occasionally, I'll have a tune, and I'll keep that tune. Either recorded or in my head, and think, well, one day that will make a song. Although Duncan, who I play with, we now do an instrumental with the band, and it's a song that never got any words. It was always meant to be a song. Yeah. It's got the subject matter. He knows exactly what he wants to write it about, but he can't get the words out. It's for his daughter, and his daughter was born. And he has got one song for her anyway, but he's going to write another one, and really think every time he tries to write it, just comes out all soppy and slushy, so he won't do it. So it's now a tune within the band. So sometimes you can have a tune forever, and it never becomes a song. But I think the poetry to music is quite a good way of describing it. This is on my album, which is about 4 American airmen died in 1942 when the plane crashed into the Sierra Nevada mountains, and they didn't find the bodies until 2002, our first one. And I read this story on the internet, wrote the song. The chap who I wrote the song about is called Leo Muston, and he has an entry on Wikipedia. My son Liam, who plays in my band, edited the Wikipedia entry to put me, say that I've written a song based on this story. I then got an email from a chap called Peter Steeple, who's an American. He is a freelance journalist. He's written a book about the whole story. He was the chap who found the second body a year after the first one was discovered. And I met him just recently in the Lake District. He sent me an email and said, are you near? Well, on an American scale, we're quite near, aren't we, really? So,
to the Lake District.
So I went to meet a fascinating chap. And just a simple little thing I read on the internet, I made it into a song. And now, the end result of that, if you like, is that the song is being sent with a letter that I wrote to the relative of Leo Muston, who's still alive. So hopefully she'll get to hear it and approve, I hope, you know. And I just thought it was a story that needed telling, and it's funny actually that's helpful. So
people want to come and find you to listen to your music. Where do they need to come and find you?
For me, www.wendyarrowsmith.com. That always has my gig list on it, and I play all over the country really. So just keep an eye out on the gig list, and you can catch me there.
And it's gerrymcneice.co.uk. Anybody can contact me there and send an email, add them to the mailing list, and then I don't mail out that often.
And you've both got lots of gigs coming up?
Yeah, busy over the summer. But I think with having the new CD out, it's been an impetus to get some gigs going. And
I received a phone call earlier this week, somebody asking if I could do a gig, and he said, when's your next free Saturday? And I said, the 15th of October. So that's quite good. And I've got gigs beyond then, obviously, but it was quite nice to say that, really. October.
Yeah, I mean, it's a strange thing when you start to get involved in the music world and you suddenly realise that you need to have a diary for a good sort of 18 months in advance, at least. You know, I've got things in my diary for October 2012, which is a bit scary sometimes to get your life planned out.
It is.
Download, you can get digital downloads via CD Baby. CD Baby also sends stuff out to iTunes and Amazon. Or obviously you can buy them from me at my gigs. With a beautiful cover designed by the lovely Annie McNeice.
Brilliant. Well, I really enjoyed this conversation. Thank you so much.
It's been good, yeah. Thanks for having me.